Hey guys, welcome back to Not So Popular Opinion. Like children, modern women say the darndest things. Somehow they believe that they should be able to disrespect you and not honor you, but still be able to get from you whatever they want.
My dad just decided he's not going to pay for my wedding anymore. What I'm finding out is if you let your parent pay for your wedding, you kind of have to do it their way. I finally told my parents, I'm going to do this my way, and they backed out of paying for it. So let me tell you what happened. I have to give credit where credit is due. My parents raised me to be an independent thinker, and as an independent thinker, I've decided we're not going to do every single wedding tradition at my wedding. And that's where the fight comes in with my dad. It's the year 2023. Women are not property anymore, which is why I decided I will be walking myself down the aisle. My parents do not own me, and I'm not some property to be given away. My dad was not very happy to find out he wouldn't be walking me down the aisle. In his eyes, I'm taking away one of the most important parts of the day. Apparently, a first dance with my father isn't enough. My dad keeps going back to the point of, we've never treated you as property, why would you say that? He's also trying to say I'm discrediting everything him and my mom have done for me, which to me just feels unrelated. Like, I'm just not a fan of that tradition. I feel like he's been talking to his buddies because the other day he came back to me and said, well, if you want to be independent, then you can pay for it yourself. Which to me still feels like if you're not going to do your wedding the way I want, then I'm not going to pay for it. And that just doesn't feel right to me. So anyways, do we agree that my dad's being a complete jerk right now? Really hoping he comes around because there's no way I can afford this wedding if he doesn't help me with it. So I'm just kind of holding out hope that he'll come through.
Feminism continues to rot the brain and destroys the lives and relationships of modern women. She seems to be confused about everything in life, especially traditions and these wedding traditions, which she seems to want to revolt against because the patriarchy is trying to control women and treat women as property. No, this has nothing to do with treating a woman as property or selling a woman or anything of that nature. A father wants to walk his daughter down as an honor. This is the person that he has protected and provided for their entire life. And she has found a man that she loves, and also he has found a man that he deems worthy and responsible enough to carry on the tradition that he started with protecting and providing for his daughter. That is what that is about. But for some reason, that doesn't matter to her. She doesn't want that tradition, but the old tradition of daddy paying for the wedding, she has no problem with. Like most feminism examples, they like to pick and choose. The sisterhood has a lot of things confused. They like to criticize while also being hypocritical. She's okay with one tradition when it works in her favor, but because somebody told her a bunch of BS about it being, you're seen as property, that's why they walk you down. She has a problem with that. Wants to do with what doesn't benefit her. She's like these women that get out here and say they don't want a broke man because a broke man can't afford them, but also claim they aren't property. If you aren't property, why does he need to afford you? But you ain't no car, you ain't a house, you aren't an item for purchase. Or are you? She is willing to destroy the relationship, the bond she has with her father, to try to prove that she's some independent woman. She's standing on business, 10 toes down. Well, if you independently take care of your own damn problems. And now this is your problem. This isn't about control. And you even said that your parents were good to you. They weren't mistreating you or treating you like property. You just being a bitch. And I fully back him. And so does your mom, because normally a mom would probably nag him into, trying to change his mind. But no, she gets it too. She realized that they raised an ungrateful piece of trash. An ungrateful, disrespectful piece of trash. That has no regard for anybody else's feelings but hers. She'd rather make a spectacle of all of this. And by doing so, hopefully, she's preparing that groom to run. Whoever ends up paying for this wedding, they need to pocket that money. It ain't worth it. If she is willing to disrespect her father to this level, imagine how she is going to treat her husband. It ain't worth it, bro. It ain't worth it. She ain't worth it. It definitely ain't worth the problems. If she will disrespect the man who provided, who protected, who gave all of himself for her, and the only thing he wants is to walk his daughter down the aisle and carry on the tradition of passing that same responsibility that he held with pride to the man he deems worthy of that responsibility, and you're willing to take that away from him so you can strut down by yourself? Yeah, that man that proposed to you is in for a lifetime of hell, and he better run. It's funny. All of this is, I'm my own person. I'm independent. I got body autonomy and all the other stuff, and fight against the patriarchy. But it's okay when, if that man does marry you and you become unhappy, you take half or all of his shit. You take his property, his money, and his children. And you know who set that up? The patriarchy. You don't have a problem with things that benefit you. And you want to talk about body autonomy. Let's talk about the one thing all these feminists and all these people that want to talk about how women have body autonomy, they don't want to look this in the eye. How all of them, every single one of them, will have a son, and from the moment he is born will mutilate his body without his permission for aesthetic. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll put it up on the screen, because that's exactly what it is. It is male mutilation for the aesthetic to please women. If you don't believe me, you can check out how so many women find disgusting just because of the way it looks. So yeah, all of that only matters when it pertains to what benefits them. They want body autonomy to run the streets, ride that meat carousel without being judged, but have no problem, ruining somebody else or doing what they will to somebody else. They hate the patriarchy until it provides them with all the money in the world for no effort. When they divorce their husband, which they are doing at an alarming rate, and it grows every single year, and when they take his kids from him for no good reason, when they're in a dangerous field of work, and in particular jobs, whether you know this or want to accept it or not, there are certain jobs that both men and women get paid exactly the same, and there are rules in place that will not allow a woman to do it. Certain tasks on that job a woman cannot do while getting paid the same thing as a man for her safety. Because of how dangerous it is, she is able to sit and watch that man do that task and put his life on the line while hers is being protected at the risk of his own. But yeah, you're getting done dirty somehow. Stick it to the man, right? Sure. But you don't care when that man looking out for you, do you? You want to do things your way. You want to prove that you own, that you're not a property, that you're your own woman. Well, bitch, pay for your own wedding. Show everybody how independent you are. Put your hand back. Quit putting your hand out and expecting daddy to pay for it when you don't respect him or honor what he has given you so far. Let's check out some of these comments. First commenter here says, if I were dad, I'd be telling your fiance to get out. Definitely. If he is not picking up on the cues from when she goes to complain to him that her parents are no longer paying for the wedding and why they're no longer paying for it, he needs to pick up on that cue before the dad even tell him to run, and he needs to run himself. Next commenter here says, since it's 2024 and some traditions are getting old, he decided that paying for the wedding is old tradition too. Team dad. You know what? I like that in this comment section, a lot of women actually are backing the dad. That is a very pleasant surprise to see. Next comment here says, a lot of fathers think of walking their daughter down the aisle as an honor, not giving away property. I never take that away from my dad, which you shouldn't. All the sacrifices your dad has made for you to take that from him is like spitting in his face and telling him everything he has ever done doesn't mean anything to you. This person here says, independent thinker, your wedding, your bill. Team dad. Next person says, a dad paying for his daughter's wedding is tradition. Since you're tossing traditions, it's got to go. Dad doesn't own you or your debt. Go dad. Next person says, what I hear, I don't want to let you have the super emotional moment that doesn't mean what it did eons ago. Give me money. Exactly. She's got her hand out.
Money, please.
While also rejecting her dad and not caring about his emotions. That's just super ungrateful. They raised a demon child. They really did. They raised a problem. Last commenter here says, raised me to be an independent thinker, but not independent in finances. Her response is, cause I have $30,000 of credit card debt. Well, that's your fucking problem, independent woman. You figure it out. Don't put it on your husband. After getting married, don't ask your parents for help. You figure that shit out on your own. You got the nerve to disrespect this man, but want him to pay for your wedding because you can't afford to do it. That's your problem. Yeah, the moment you pay for that wedding, you can walk your little sorry ass down the aisle by yourself because you're not nobody property. And nobody can afford you and all this other nonsense. Guess what? You're an adult. Figure it out. You don't seem to care what he wants, so why should he care about what you want? That's just how it works when you become an adult. But a lot of modern women don't seem to understand or care about that at all because they're so used to people telling them that nothing they do is wrong. You know, people just don't understand you. You got to fight harder for what you really want and, you know, stand on business and, you know, girl, you don't need this and that and can't nobody tell you nothing because don't nobody own you and, you know, you owe this and girl power and all this other crap. It's all an illusion. You get what you earn. That's why it's so important for modern women to understand the role that a man plays. The fact that your dad wanted to walk you down the aisle and is not fighting you on getting married at all should show you something. If he has taken care of you and has been a great father since you had no problems, since, you know, we all know that if he was a horrible father, she would have definitely said something in the first thing out of her mouth. Since we know he was a good father, do you know what it feels like for him to trust another man to take on that responsibility? The weight that is being lifted off his shoulders. The pride that he feels. That he knows that his daughter who's the apple of his eye, the stars in his night sky, the sun in his days, has found someone who loves her just as much as he does, enough to want to provide and protect her, just like he had. That feeling is something that, a lot of people will never understand. Fathers with daughters get it, but obviously ungrateful little bitches don't. But hey, if somehow y'all agree with this, let me know. If y'all think she in the right, she should be able to do whatever she want. It's her wedding day and he should still pay for it, and he's being a baby, or he's wrong or whatever, let me know. But if you got common sense, I'm pretty sure we agree on this, right? Because this is insane. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as always, I love to hear what you think. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing, and commenting, and checking out another episode of Not So Popular Opinion. I'll see you in the next one. I'm out.